Skoda Superb. When you give a car a name like that, Superb, you're kind of setting yourself quite a challenge, aren't you? Because you can't just go making a mediocre or even rubbish car and then call it the Superb. You do have to kind of make a superb car. It's like Ford calling their car the Ford Fantastic or Toyota the Toyota Terrific. The question today is, this third generation Skoda Superb, which came out in 2015, is it superb? Well, stay tuned to find out. So the Superb is what we would call in the UK or Europe a big car. It's 4.8 metres long, which puts it in the realm of cars like the Volkswagen Passat, the Ford Mondeo and the Vauxhall Insignia. And it's a hatchback, although it kind of looks like a saloon. You do actually have the practicality of a big hatchback and a massive boot. A boot that is bigger than basically any of its rivals of the time. It was of course also available as an estate car, and that had even more room in it. And it was front-wheel drive as standard, but it was also available as four-wheel drive, which is what this car is I'm in today, 2019 4x4 DSG model. It's a good-looking car, the Superb. Surprisingly so, actually. When you really look at it, I think it's a very nicely proportioned car, very handsome. It's of that 2010 to 2015 design language that many cars have, which is creases and very crisp suit-like look to it. It's much better looking than the previous Skoda Superb, which was quite ungainly in many ways. Now, I like that car, but it's a bit unique looking, wasn't it? Whereas this is much more palatable for your everyday motorist. So it's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde of sensibleness of that VW group, you know, Audi, VW, Skoda, sensible controls, all black, business-like, no flair or excitement, but also at the same time, very nice materials, well built, no creaks or rattles. So you're buying the sensibleness, but with it being a Skoda, you also do buy into some thoughtfulness, like the umbrella that's built into the door that you just pull out. On a rainy day, you need not get wet because you just open the door and get it out the door before you get out of the car. You've got an ice scraper attached to the fuel filler cap, so you can de-ice your car as long as you can get into the fuel cap. And you've got a little light in the boot, which is your normal little light that illuminates the boot, but also you can take it out and use it like a torch. And then on the windscreen here, you've got a little parking ticket holder. So this car is the SportLine Plus, which is second from the top in terms of trim level, and of course it's also very sporty. It's got the sporty Alcantara leather bucket seats, and it's got all little things like the black trim and spoiler and carbon fibre everywhere. But it's also very well equipped because I've got things like heated steering wheel, heated seats, I've got radar guided cruise control. I've got this big sunroof above my head, although it's not panoramic, which is interesting. I thought it would be, and it kind of shame for the people in the back that it isn't. You've got this nice big touchscreen which is very responsive. You can adjust all of the car's settings in there. You've got your DAB radio, sat nav, this gesture control thing where you can sort of swipe your hand and not actually touch the screen, which in theory is good because you know you're not going to get fingerprints on this screen, but I'm not sure how I've managed to make it sort of swipe through a few screens, but I think it's a bit of a gimmick really. But you also do have some climate control buttons for things like the dual zone climate control, the heated seats, the heated steering wheel. You've got a heated front screen, but I cannot see the elements in it, so that's really impressive. There's just no elements there. The screen just clears itself in the winter. The heated front screen also has the added benefit of reflecting infrared light, which helps to keep the car cool in direct sunlight. From some angles, the whole screen appears to have a pinkish red tint. Even though this is a very high-spec car, there's loads of blank buttons around the gear selector, which very proudly in massive letters says DSG 4x4, which I think is a little bit tacky. It's a lovely smooth car to drive. There's not much wind or road noise. It's a big long car, so it can be hard to place obviously in town if you're just nipping around town or smaller roads, but you've got a lovely frameless rear view mirror, some relatively small side mirrors, but you can adjust the steering wheel into any which position you like. The seats are very adjustable, especially in this high spec model. They're also comfortable and bolstered as well. I mean, these are the sport seats, these are leather and Alcantara. Yeah, it's a very easy car to drive. The steering is light, but not a one-finger lightness. DSG box is ridiculously quick at changing gears. It's like instantaneous pretty much, and it's dead smooth as well. You can change them with the paddles on the back of the steering wheel, which basically switches it into manual mode so that you can go through the gears manually if you're having a bit of fun in the twisty bends, or you need to drop the gear down to give you a bit of engine braking down a hill, for example. Driving me Skoda. That's what they want to call. That's what they want us to call it now, isn't it? Skoda. It's like Sean Connery saying the name of the car. the ride quality, despite this car being the Sport Plus model with some big fancy alloy wheels on it, is good. It's very good. Quite enjoying the comfort of this car, because many times now in modern cars they're not that comfortable. If you buy a equivalent Audi, an S-Line with the sport suspension, it's not going to be as comfortable. Same with the AMG line Mercedes and BMW and stuff. But this car just cruises along. Obviously on the motorway, really good, because it's a big long car, long wheelbase, perfect for motorway cruising, isn't it? Superb even, one might say. So up front you've got a decent sized cubby here underneath the armrest, which is actually air conditioned. You can adjust the temperature inside there to keep your can of Coke cold or whatever. And then the glove box is also air conditioned, but when you open it, it absolutely flies open. I don't know if it's just like the damping has broken on this car or if it never came with it.
It turns out there should be a damper there, but in a strange lapse of Skoda's sensible judgment, it has to be removed to get to the fuse box, and it can break or be quite fiddly to reattach.
Then I've got these door pockets here, which are nicely lined with soft carpety material. I've got some cup holders here, which actually do not fit the fat bottom bottle. This car has failed on the fat bottom bottle test, and that's unusual for a big car like this. So I'm going to ask backseat JJ what he thinks of the back, but I think we need to make him do a little bit more work than normal, because he seems to get away with just basically sitting back there and telling me it has legroom or not. So can you give us a little bit more information on the Superb? Yeah, okay mate, no worries. I actually have done my research. I can tell you some facts about the history of the Superb if you want. So obviously this is the Mark III that you mentioned, but you might remember that there was a Mark I, which was basically a Volkswagen Passat long wheelbase. The whole point of that car was because the Czech president basically wanted a car that wasn't a Volkswagen. He wanted a Czech car to be driven around in. Then the Mark II came out, which was actually like kind of pretty quirky, interesting car. It had that crazy boot configuration where you could open the boot as a saloon or a hatchback. And then you had this, the Mark III, which is the best looking Superb by far. We must also mention what I'm going to call the Mark Zero, which was the 1934 Superb, which was a very high class car, and that's why they called it the Superb. Superb being superbus, which is a Latin word for proud or stately. The design brief of this car obviously was for space in the back. That's the whole point of the Superb really, and they've absolutely knocked it out of the park, because I'm sat behind JJ right now, who's 6 foot tall. I'm 6 foot tall, and I've got a literal acre of legroom in front of my knees, and I've got headroom as well. Like, not as much, but you know, for a saloon car, it's pretty good. And the other thing is, this car is wide. You can fit 3 adults across the back seat. The only thing I don't like about this SportLine Plus model is that the seats in front of me, I can't actually see through them. They're just one big block, which is good for sporty driving, but it's not good for backseat visibility. We've got this armrest, which has got some cup holders built into it. A little tiny clock here and a climate control screen, which is actually really nice. You can't control it in this model. With the highest spec car you could. I've got pockets on the back of the seats, nice little damped grab handles, got some lights up here. But yeah, very, very spacious car. So back to you. Oh, that actually was quite interesting, so thank you very much for that. Now, in addition to all that room in the back, the real ace up this car's sleeve is that absolutely enormous boot. It's absolutely supremely practical, this car, in terms of load lugging capabilities. It's just like a massive van. Even in this car, you can obviously fold the seats down to fit bigger things in. If you're one of those families that needs, you know, a dog car or a tip car, it's absolutely brilliant for it. Have you got a Skoda Superb? Please do comment below and let me know what you think of it. Do you think it's superb, and has it been a good, reliable car to you? With this car being a car from the Volkswagen group, there are of course many engines that you can pick from. Now, the most common would have been the 150 horsepower diesel. This car's a diesel, but it's got 190 horsepower, and that means it's got plenty of poke, especially with that four-wheel drive system. There was also a 260 horsepower 2-litre TSI petrol, which was the most powerful Skoda that they made at that time.
The 190 diesel will get you an acceptable 45 miles per gallon, but if you really want efficiency, there's the Green Line version that will get you north of 60 miles per gallon.
Tell you what, for a big limousine, it does handle all right actually. It's got really nicely weighted steering. It doesn't roll into the corners. It is confidence inspiring. You know, it can be fun to drive for a big heavy car. It's grippy. That four-wheel drive is absolutely excellent for keeping you on the road. So the Skoda Superb, is it? Yeah man, it is. It's a supremely spacious car for people in the front and the back, and all of your luggage as well as being good to drive, a good looking car, well built, well made, has all the equipment you need, it's very modern, it's safe, you know, it's a 5-star Euro NCAP. The only problem it's got, of course, is its rivals, and if you are interested in this car, it would be worth checking out the VW Arteon, which is a nice car in its own right now, probably a little bit more expensive than this car, like for like, but definitely worth checking out, so I'll leave a link to a video up there. And yeah, thanks so much to Damien for lending me this car, and thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.